Hi, this is Reverend Ken. Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to like and share our video and comment on the video. It will mean a great deal to us. It will help spread our message out to a wider audience. So again, be sure to like us, to make a comment about us, or to share it with all your friends. It will do a great deal of good. Thank you so much.
broken wings and learn to fly. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird singing in the dead of night, take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the night of a dark black night. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the night of a dark black night. Singing in the dead of night, take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird singing in the dead of night, take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, my loyal following. I am greatly appreciative of all that will come out in this heat and humidity to hear me talk. So I'm grateful for you all. The board and I are trying to figure out what we wanted to do with this service. So we don't know if we're going to keep doing it or not. And we may actually, what we may end up doing is just do it maybe once a month. So we're just not sure. I'm very grateful that you come out to support me and support the center. So we'll let you know if what we're going to decide to do before next week. We do know a lot of people are watching the service on YouTube, so we're grateful for that. And if you're on YouTube and you're watching us and you're in your pajamas and you're with a cup of tea and air conditioning, then be sure to write a comment on it or to like it, because that will help us out considerably. And that's the nice thing you can do for us, so be sure you do that for us. So to get us started tonight, I'm going to have Jim Soll come up and do a reading treatment for us. Come on up, Jim.
Good evening. We've got the flowers blooming. We've got a nice breeze, a blue sky. It's really pretty awesome here. And one of the things we need to remember is that God is everywhere present. So even though we're meeting here in a parking lot, God's here too. So let's do an opening prayer. If you would with me, close your eyes. And just know with me that the divine intelligence is everywhere present. It's here in this parking lot. It's with us if we're at home. It's with us when we're shopping. It's with us wherever we go and whatever we do, it is there with us. And if we're aware of it, it can support us. We can be aware of it and know that it is helping us to avoid the difficulties and to embrace the good things in our life. And this divine intelligence is a loving presence that we can feel. We can literally feel the air, the clouds, the sky, the plants. All of this is divinely inspired. And I think prayer is as much feeling as it is talking. I believe that it's when we literally feel the presence of God, we are within a prayer itself. And I highly recommend that each and every one of us, throughout our busy day, just to stop and feel the presence of this divine intelligence. And with it, it gives us choice. So let's choose to have a happy, healthy, and abundant life. Let's choose that this center is prosperous and that we can soon meet together and have social interaction, and that each and every person within this center avoids this virus and feels secure in their own being and feel guided by this divine intelligence in such a way where they let go of any fear, frustration, or feelings of being alone. For we are never alone. We're always loved, and we know this deep within us. So let's give thanks for this center. Let's give thanks for this divine intelligence that's everywhere present, and let's give thanks for all the people who do and are supporting this center. And give thanks for Ken and give him wisdom to share with us this evening. And I can release this prayer simply and easily by saying, and so it is.
Thank you, Jim. Elizabeth, do you have another song for us?
If you want to sing out, sing out. If you want to be free, be free. There's a million things to be, you know that there are. If you want to live high, live high. If you want to live low, live low. There's a million ways to go, you know that there are. You can do what you want, the opportunities are. If you find a new way, you can do it today. You can make it all true, and it can happen to you. You'll see. See. You only need to know. If you want to say yes, say yes. If you want to say no, say no. There's a million ways to go, you know that there are. If you want to be free, be free. If you want to be you, be you. There's a million things to do, you know that there are. You can do what you want, opportunities on. And if you find a new way, you can do it today. You can make it all true. It can happen to you. You'll see. It's easy. You only need to know. If you want to sing out, sing out. If you want to be low, sing low. There's a million ways to go, You know that there are. You want to be free, be free. If you want to be you, be you. There's a billion things to do. You know that there are.
Elizabeth. One of my favorite songs. Cat Stevens from Harold and Maude. One of my favorite movies. So, well, thanks for coming out tonight. I'm very appreciative that you're here supporting us. And you know, we take a step, we try something. If it doesn't work out, then we try something else. But we're continuing to try as much as we can to keep this community together and to keep this community moving ahead. And we are doing really good stuff in our community. We haven't just sat back. That's what a lot of communities have done, have just sat back to wait this thing is over with. We don't know when it's going to be over with. So we've got to keep working to make sure that we're bringing God's possibilities to life here and now. That's what we're charged to do. And that's what we are doing. You know, last week I told you about the Elizabeth Clare Fund, how we're making contributions. We gave some money to Nadia so she could continue with her nursing program. We found out from the Interfaith group that there's a woman in Hastings, and she's created a shelter for battered women out in Hastings. Their air conditioner broke down, and so we've contributed money to help them get their air conditioning back up. I'm very supportive of air conditioning in our community. I know there's a big battle about, you know, a monument downtown, if we need to leave it up or take it down for something that happened 150 years ago. I tell you what, they need to put a monument up to, who was it, the guy that invented air conditioning? We need to have a monument to him. We need to have parades for him, because if not for him, we wouldn't be living down here. So I'm grateful for air conditioning. That's what my prayer partner tells me. She said, Ken, don't complain about the air conditioning. Praise the guy that invented, don't complain about the heat. Praise the guy that invented the air conditioning. So tonight we're grateful for this breeze. It's actually pretty nice out here, and I'm grateful for you. My talk is The Strong with the Power of God. I actually borrowed that from an article Dr. Holmes wrote, Strong with the Power of God. Because that's what we're called to do. We're not called to be weak and wounded, not namby-pamby. You know, my dear Christian friends in the interfaith group, when I hear them do a prayer, I love them all, but their begging and pleading really kind of can be a little bit offensive to my sensibility, because I don't think God wants us to beg and plead. I think Spirit wants us to stand up strong and announce our good. That's what Spirit is calling us to do. We were created so that the wisdom of God could rain down on our lives through us, by means of us. And that's what we're here to do, to have more joy and love and kindness and compassion, and be strong. You know, for 2,000 years, or probably ever since we even started thinking about Spirit, we have been in our spiritual adolescence. We're wanting a sugar daddy God in the sky to tell us what to do. It's time for us to grow up, to become spiritual adults, and to start working with Spirit and to creating lives of good right where we are. My teacher, Kennedy Schultz, he said that we are reluctant to turn loose of this idea of a sugar daddy God. We keep waiting on it to tell us what to do, because we want to blame it for the mess of our lives. You know, if you keep waiting on God in the sky to make your life good, then you can blame it for not making your life good. And our teaching is about taking spiritual responsibility for ourselves, to say, here's where I'm at. What are the opportunities that I can use to bring about greater good? How can I, in Spirit together, live more joyfully and wonderfully and powerfully, and to step up and to use the power Scripture says that we were ordained by God, that our power is ordained by God. And that which is ordained by God should not be denied by us. Instead, it's ours to use, to work with. And how do we work with it? We allow the creative possibilities of life to flow through us. How can we bring more life? That's what Jesus said. Jesus said, I came to life so you might have it more abundantly. So we're here to have life more abundantly by means of me, by means of you, right where we are, right as we are. So what do we want to do with this power? To create more wealth and love and prosperity, or to create more woe is me? Because whichever of those two ideas we focus on, we're going to get more of it. What we focus on, what we talk about, what we look for, that's what we get more of. And what we acknowledge, it becomes the truth of our lives. We don't get in life what we hope for. We get what we believe is true for ourselves. You know, I used this story in the video earlier in the week, and I was kind of reluctant to use it again because it's not really kind of a nice story, but it's about one of my cousins. He was a male, and he was the only son, and he grew up in a family, and they lived next door to their grandparents. My sisters would say about him, he had been beaten by the ugly stick. I don't know if you've ever heard of an ugly stick, but that's what they said about him. Now, not only was he not physically attractive, but he was very conceited. And the reason he was conceited is because his parents and his grandparents raised him to think that he was just the best thing that had ever come along. And they raised him to think he was also good looking. So here was this not so attractive guy, but had been raised up to think that he was really God's gift to the world. And you know what? He went out in the world and he acted like that. And surprisingly, some of the world responded to him like that. And that's really all he needed. Just some of the world responded to him. So when we go out in the world, if we're thinking we are God's gift, which actually we are God's gift to the world. And we don't have to be conceited about it, but we can go out and the world is going to respond. Through us flows all the possibilities of the universe. And our teaching believes that right where we are flows all the possibilities of God. Not some possibilities, but all possibilities. Forever where God is, there is all of its potential. Not just some power, but all power. And it's available for us to use to create the best life possible. We're working with that power which set the rings of Saturn into motion. And we work with it through our thinking. And that's the only way we can work with it. God created us in order that it could pour the goodness and blessings into the physical world by means of us. We are God's perfect answer to every problem we'll ever confront. We just have to get out of our own way and allow it to happen, and not to be bullied or dismayed by what's going on in the world. Even with all this turmoil we're seeing, even with this virus, we can know something is good is happening. Something godly is happening here now, and we can demand that we see it. There's a wonderful female teacher. She was called the teacher of teacher. Elizabeth Stanton, I think might be her name, but I think I'm kind of a bit wrong on that. But anyway, they said about her that when she would have trouble, that she was a little tiny thing, she would stomp her foot and she would say, I demand to see the good in this. So perhaps this is how we need to get, to demand to see the good in what's coming up through this virus. And I think there is good coming. I know it's tough to see it right now, but I think something good is coming. I think we're going to see each other in a different light. We're going to see our nation in a different light. We're going to be willing to work together more. There is something good happening, even if we can't see it. Something good. And we can help birth that into life. The wisdom and strength you have comes from the Lord Almighty. And we can have implicit trust and confidence, not only in the availability of good, but that it's working through what we're doing. We are the means by which Spirit is showing up in life, through our hopes and dreams and our desires for more love and more compassion and more kindness. And once we open ourselves to this goodness and we identify with it, you are the way it works. Dr. Holmes says that a power but goes before me. It's preparing a way for me. And we help it prepare a way through our affirmative prayer to make a decision that we want to see some particular good in life, something that we can believe in, something that we can see ourselves having, and then put our faith to work through affirmative prayer. To pray for it and to believe in it, and then move out into the world and to look, how is this showing up in life? Is there anything that's opening up in life? And it may be just enough to take one single step, but take that step and move forward. And when it doesn't open up, don't get discouraged about it. Don't get depressed about it. Take a breath. Take a moment. Don't lose faith. My prayer partner, Bev, she tells me, she says, Ken, we're in a place of hibernation right now. She says, just like a plant goes into hibernation. She said, you may not see it, may not seem, there's nothing's happening. The leaves and stems may not be growing, but underneath the roots are growing. Energy is building up. So when the spring comes along, there can be a burst of energy and a birth of growth. So try something, and if it doesn't work, then try something else. That's all. Just try something else. Jesus, when he was looking out on his disciples, they weren't catching any fish. And what did he say? He said, throw the net on the other side. They threw the net on the other side. They couldn't haul up all the bounty. Sometimes just a simple change can bring about great abundance. Provide God as many opportunities to bring your blessings to you as you can have. Don't just fixate on one thing. This is a big mistake people make. I've got to have this, I won't be happy. I've got to have Betty in my life or I'm not going to be fulfilled. Well, when you put that much energy in one particular thing, Betty is not going to come along. And even when Betty does come along, she's not going to make you happy. You have to have as many avenues as possible to bring about more goodness. And if you can say to yourself, I'm really happy right where I am. I really love this place that I am, but it would be joyful if this or that would come into my life. Then you're in a place of miracles. That's when it's easy for life to attract your goodness to you. And look out and bless what you have. You know, I love a story they had about Dr. Holmes. They said that a woman came to him and she had just bought a house and she didn't realize the house was next to a playground. And she came to Dr. Holmes and she said, I want you to do a treatment for me that these kids stop making so much noise when they're out playing. And he told her, he said, I won't do that. I'm not going to do a treatment for kids not to enjoy their lives, but I'll do a treatment for you to enjoy the sound of kids' laughter, to enjoy the sound of kids at play. There's something happening in all our lives right now, even in this time of crisis, that's wonderful and joyful. And when we can start blessing that, more blessings will flow into our lives. My teacher, Kennedy Schultz, he said that the more you get on your spiritual practice, the less you'll want. And at first, it's all about getting. It's about getting the car, the corner office, the relationship. But at some point of our spiritual journey, we get to a place where it's really more about having the relationship with Spirit. the things become less of importance. It's the relationship with Spirit that we long for, because that's the water from the well. If we drink, we won't thirst anymore. In Scripture it says, "And all you're getting, gain wisdom." And that is the wisdom, the relationship with Spirit. That's what we're here to experience. That's what we're here to know, that we are one with God, that we have power and strength, that we can know the goodness and compassion of God, that our lives have meaning and purpose, that our challenges and struggles aren't just arbitrary, that they have meaning, that we're doing something good and necessary and vital here. We are, each of us are doing something good and necessary and vital. Creation would not be complete if not for you. And all of us are in our own way contributing to the unfoldment of the universe. We're necessary and needed. Spirit is counting on you, and you are up to the task. You are strong with the power of God. Spirit called you by name to be here now and in this place, and you are doing wonderful. Spirit has never been disappointed for one moment. It's not impressed with any of your mistakes. It's not impressed with any of your problems. It is awed by your possibilities. So you are strong with God. Do not be dismayed. Don't be discouraged. Do not be worried about what's going on in the world. Spirit called you to do something wonderful and joyful, and you're up to the task. Spirit believes in you. I believe in you, and now is your time. This is the truth in your life tonight. It's the truth in mine, and so it is.
I do. Just a moment.
I changed my song selection because of your talk.
Oh, lovely.
This is one I did once here in, was it February or March, when we had a couple services I got to do. I did this once here, but it seems appropriate today. It's a song I wrote called Great Big World. Oh, there's a great big world outside, and it's waiting for you and me, for that magical moment we make up our minds to be all we were meant to be. 'Cause everybody has the words that only they know how to say, and everybody has a song that only they know how to play, and everybody has a place if you believe it will be true. If you'll only trust yourself, the world will always stand by you. But though there are times when you feel so unsure, and you feel like giving in, the world is a sleeping giant just outside your door, and the sun's gonna rise again. For everyone who has a heart to love and hands to make things right, for everyone who has a dream to carry through the blackest night. From a certain point of view, there's so much more just out of sight in the great big world.
hasn't Elizabeth been a wonderful blessing to us? I love her music. It fits us like hand in glove, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. So let's do a closing prayer for ourselves, for each other, and for the world, because our dear world can use some prayer right now. So I'm going to do this closing prayer in the first person. Take it in for yourself. Say something that works for you. Hold tightly to that. Say something that doesn't work for you. Just let that slide by. If you listen to me long enough, you will hear something that doesn't work for you. So just tune in at some point. And just know there's truth with me tonight. There is only one God, one mind, one power, one love. And that power is flowing through me. It is expressing life as me. And all my little nooks and crannies and all my little foibles, still in the cracks of my soul, Spirit is shining forth. And that Spirit is urging me on to not get caught up in all the dismay and turmoil of the world, but to lift my eyes up to a better knowing that here now in this community, that we can move forward in goodness and love and compassion, and that we can raise up, that we can encourage people, that we can lift up, to know something good and wholesome for ourselves, that Spirit is with us, that we are not weak and wounded, we are not victims, we have not come to life to dismayed, and that even with all this turmoil coming on, there's a wonderful, bright, dawning light of God's possibilities, of us coming together as a nation, of us solving this problem of a virus, of us having a community, a beloved community, where we respect one another, we listen to one another, we honor one another, even when we disagree with one another, that we link arm and become brothers and sisters, that we walk hand in hand to that beloved community that we've been called to do. This nation, our people, we are a bright, shining city on a hill. It's what our forefathers have called us, and even in this time of trouble and turmoil, we can lift our eyes to a better knowing, and we can remind each other of what we're here to do, what we're here to be, that we are called to be strong with the power of Spirit, strong with the power of love, strong with the power of kindness and compassion. It's the Christ consciousness in us, and tonight we're saying yes to it. It's our truth. We celebrate, we rejoice in this right knowing, and we release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to us multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my dear friends, know this final truth with me. Your life is not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is to go name your miracle, to proclaim your miracle, and to make it your own. God bless us all. Now, let us go be the miracle God has called us to be. Have a wonderful week. Maybe we'll see you next week. Many blessings.